Can you comment on this post from Shoe? That's always a good intro to a stream segment. What the fuck is this? All right, let's break down the scene, okay? Okay. Our man is wearing like a 1950s bowling polo shirt. He looks, let's be clear here, fabulous, okay? And we're in a diner called Diner. That's cool. Diners are really nice. You know, the only place, because I have like foreign friends who visit, and they're like, I've wanted to go to an American diner. And there aren't that many American diners anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're not that common. There are a couple of, like, usually you can find diners if you're, like, driving across the interstate and you have to, like, stop off at a little place to get fuel or whatever. There's usually, like, a diner there sometimes. Sometimes you can find on the West Coast, the only place you can find diners in major cities is, like, they're diner-themed restaurants. Like, they're not authentic diners. You know what I mean? I don't know. And did anyone else eat a lot of Johnny Rockets when they were growing up? Johnny Rockets is like a stylized, aesthetized, like return to tradition kind of diner style restaurant. There's a lot of them in LA. They're not like super good or anything, but their interior always looks like this, basically. You can also put a quarter in little jukeboxes that are at each table that cue up a song on the playlist, which is cute, you know. This is the one in Seattle at a local shopping mall. See, it's got like the little... I think it's cute, you know. I'm not a huge fan of like 50s revivalism in general, but I do like diners. I do like red leather or fake leather, I guess. You know, I like the like racing stripe on the seating. It's cute. Oh, you know, when they serve you your fries here, because you always get fries, they give you a little like cardboard ketchup platter that the person uses a squirt ketchup bottle to put a smiley face on. And the last time I went to Johnny Rockets, because I look the way I do, instead they did like 2 dot eyes with a mustache, which I thought was really cute. Not to like go woke or anything, but one of the things that I thought was especially cute about it is that all of the people who were working at that Johnny Rockets, including the person who did that with the ketchup, were very clearly like recent Hispanic immigrants, which I know because I grew up in Los Angeles, and there are about as many people who are recent Hispanic immigrants as there are people who are not in that category. It's like a 50-50 split. So the idea of like, I don't know, a Mexican mom coming over to America, then going all the way up to Seattle, and then like giving me a curly mustache ketchup platter makes me happy. I don't know. It's very cute. Very multicultural, very, very American experiment, very big melting pot. I'm happy. So we're at the diner called Diner. Well, we're on the topic of diners, literally 550 plus diners in Jersey. Okay, yeah, in Jersey, you know. Okay, so our man is wearing a snatched... By the way, guys, just a little tip, okay? This is a good fit, all right? You know the shirt fits you if it fits your shoulders. If it's got a big, boxy, like, rectangle fit, that's fine. If it fits your shoulders, that's what you're looking for, you know? Because this doesn't look like loose or whatever. This looks good. Okay, then we got a girl. I think it's kind of weird that the guy looks like he's from the 50s, but the girl looks like she's from at least 2000. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's like he's an old-fashioned guy who's going to go up and riz her, and she's going to be like, whatever, and then, like, ignore him or something. Maybe that is what's going to happen. Okay, my guy's getting ready to yip. All right, we got the... Okay. We got the classic thumb on the hip. We got the classic how do you do, ladies, fit coming up. Let's go. Let's see how he does it. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the volume up even though there's music, I guess. Vaush is killing it by clearing the fair use of this music. Yeah, I am working.
But you are absolutely beautiful, and I would love to take you on a date.
You are absolutely beautiful. I'd love to take you on a date. Now listen, fellas, okay? I'm gonna hit you with a bit of a harsh truth, okay? I don't think this is or ever has been the right way to go up to a chick. No, I don't think it's Riz, actually. I don't. I think that saying a girl is beautiful is like the most obvious, go-to, straightforward, like down in the dumpster, like person sending first message on Grindr. Like it doesn't convey anything other than the guy is thirsty, which girls will assume by default if you approach them. I think you got to put a little more effort in personally, you know? And by a little more effort, I don't mean like, I don't mean you have to do anything crazy or whatever. I think that, like, if a chick's wearing a nice piece of clothing, maybe compliment that. Or if she has, like, really nice curls in her hair or something. Like, you usually complimenting something specific indicates a greater level of attention from you than just saying you're beautiful. Again, he's looking good. I'm not saying it's over, though, you know, it might be over. Okay. Now we sit back down. Man's haircut looking great, by the way. Looking fantastic today. Okay, so he's got a paper. What do we got? Okay. Thank you, Emma Hart. I'm going back to muting because I don't think there's going to be much more in the way of talking. Okay? Oh. All right. All right, we're in the dark future now, okay? It's Black Mirror. And now it's Tinder, actually, with a woke phone. Okay. I think I agree. I think I agree with the premise of this. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, hard not to, really. Yeah. Shoe doing trad shit again. You can't complain about Shoe doing trad shit when I agree with the take, you know? I mean, it's like overly embellished, but it's an ad or whatever. Ad? I don't know what it is. It's not an ad for anything, you know? I think it's just a video. I agree, but knowing Shoe's audience, their interpretations can... Yeah, well, that's always been Shoe's thing, right? Like, you know, even when she's right, it's gonna, like, inflame people with stupid intentions, yeah. No, I agree with this. Tinder and Grindr and all that shit are pretty bad for us and for our brains, yeah. Gives us a very superficial impression of how people are and how they look and how they act, and it sort of boils everything down. Can you elaborate? You can still approach people in real life nowadays, though? Yeah, we haven't taken away the ability for people to approach people in real life, but A, people are less likely to now because everyone knows that you can online date or use apps to date, which means that people are looking for, like, direct in-person interactions a lot less than they used to, and that's a fact. And for two, the availability and ease of use of things like Tinder means that a lot of people are going to default to this, which they do. We have the data on that. And it just encourages, like, worse interactions. Yeah, that's true. It is true that cold approaching just doesn't work as much as it used to, and a lot of that really is just because, you know, people have kind of gotten used to the barriers of sort of artificial distance that are created by apps like Tinder. So the idea of just being approached by somebody is very off-putting to a lot of people. I see people in chat acting as though they don't understand this, as though half of you wouldn't immediately freeze up if somebody came up to talk to you. You know, that used to be how all conversations happened, right? People would go up to you and talk to you. I guarantee you a lot of you would shit your pants if somebody did that to you because you're so used to everything being sort of like preempted and cushioned by a bunch of, like, online interactions or whatever, or like safeties and assurances. Yeah, I know. A woman once gave me a compliment and I couldn't respond. I'll refrain from making jokes at your expense. I hope you treasure the compliment forever. I'm sure she found your silence afterwards endearing. I actually had to learn to respond to compliments. You know, one thing that people... I don't know how people still f this up. If somebody compliments you, thank them for the compliment. No, never deny it. The person who compliments you never wants their compliment returned. It's disrespectful. Nobody wants that. I don't know why insecure people default to that. If you're so worried about how other people think of you, you should accept it because that is what they want to hear. Like, returning the compliment is always annoying for the one who is offered the compliment. No, you say I know, but thank you anyway. Yeah, I've said that before. Yeah, if you want to demonstrate confidence, Riz, yeah, go for it. People compliment my voice in person all the time. Yeah, sure. What about giving them a compliment as well? Now, that's another common mistake. If you just give a compliment back in response to their compliment, it comes across as transactional and disingenuous. Like, they complimented you, therefore you have to compliment them back. Like, you're trading pronouns at some, like, you know, woke meet and greet. If they compliment you, just take it, you know? If you have a sincere compliment to give back, like, you can. I'm not saying you shouldn't compliment them. I'm just saying don't, like, reflexively respond. If I compliment someone and they said I know and they're not a friend, I would want to despawn right there. Yeah, it depends on how you say it. I've never just said I know when a person compliments me. You gotta wink. Yeah, exactly. You gotta give them the little ding. Wink. What if you genuinely disagree with the compliment? Keep it to yourself. If they're complimenting you, just take it as the compliment. Don't argue with them. That's so awkward for them. You know? The only time I think it's acceptable to like deny a compliment is if you can like sincerely build off of that conversationally. Like, for example, if you're doing something like craft work in public, like, I don't know, just a very dumb example, you're working on a car on like your driveway on the street in front of your house, and somebody walks by and they're like, ah, good job. And you can like, I guess you'd be like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. But thank you. You know, like you can deny compliments if you can do so in a way that matches the energy of the initial compliment, if that makes any sense. But if you just deny it on its own, like if somebody complimented it and said the car was like, oh, hey, good job there. And you're like, nah, not really. But didn't add to it, that's weird, you know. But if you can match the energy, then it's fine. You can say basically anything that you want as long as you match the energy. This is one of those like body language and tone matters more than what you say kind of deals. I'm not saying you should just say anything. I'm just saying like you can say a lot if you know how to deliver that. Hey, nice car. No, yeah. No, Vaush is wrong. Never accept compliments. That's arrogant. The person who said that in YouTube chat was beaten as a child by their parents. I can't imagine having such low self-esteem. Accept every compliment. Be a compliment sponge. Absorb them. Be like a lich with life, okay? Even on Tinder, asking for an in-person date after a bit of chatting is seen as a supposed red flag. That really depends on who you're talking to. To be honest, when you're on Tinder or Bumble or whatever else, the worst people to engage with, in my experience, are straight women, mostly because straight women exclusively deal in men, at least for the most part, and men are awful. So they're conditioned to expect and have experienced, like, awful shit purely by virtue of talking to men, you know? So, you know, you're kind of like overcoming a barrier there, I feel. I don't understand Tinder at all, I'm old. I mean, it's not that difficult, really. Like, the guy's doing what you're supposed to do here. You just swipe, and if a person ever looks like interesting, you swipe right. So he swiped right on Emma, see? You'd be surprised how homophobic a lot of girls are? No, I would not be surprised. I don't know what the correct dating app is, but it isn't Tinder. Hinge. Probably Hinge. Dating apps are a lot more usable if you live in a big city because you have a massive number of people to sort of pull from. Bumble is so-so. Bumble has a lot of straight women on it, which I don't want to date straight women. What's the difference? There's a pretty big difference. A lot of it is just culture. Hinge, you're going to have much more like... I'll put it this way, okay? Just in terms of like usability, Hinge lets you put full videos and audio clips, and there are prompts to respond to when you're building your profile. You have to have 6 pictures or more. You can't only have like 1 or 2. To give you an idea, I guess, of the clientele, at least in Seattle, on Tinder, if I set my responses to only women, I basically get no attention unless I swipe first, because Tinder is a hellscape. If I go on Hinge, like, I regularly get likes from women from their end because there's a lot of mutual engagement there. Tinder is terrible. How am I supposed to know if I'm interested in them based on a picture and a one-liner? Well, ideally, there should be 5 to 6 pictures and more than a one-liner. But yeah, I don't swipe right on people who have 1 picture or 1 line either, you know? Grindr is scary. Yeah, if you want a quick relationship, you know. Isn't Hinge more of a relationship thing than a hookup thing like Tinder used to be? Yeah, Hinge is more relationship-oriented, but there are still people there who are non-monogamous. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I guess the lesson here is get a nice, well-fitted polo shirt, you know? Notice how this polo shirt doesn't make him look like a douchey, preppy, like, likes to golf, owns a boat jackass. That's because polo shirts are worn by the wrong people. No, it doesn't. No, sorry, yes, it does. No, it doesn't. It does a little bit. Nope, it does not. This hair sucks ass. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? He kind of looks like 50s prep. Yeah, it is the 50s. Off-duty cop shirt? Are you insane? Cops don't wear these bowling stripes. Cops just wear plain, like, navy blue polo shirts that don't fit them, and they tuck into their belted mom jeans so their stomach... What are you talking about? Look, it's good, okay? I'm kind of confused with the video's messages. The video's message is that we miss out on a lot of good social opportunities because we just use Tinder or whatever rather than talking in person. And this is true. That is correct. The sentiment of this video is demonstrably correct. People see polo and immediately profile the wearer. Yeah, they're like cops. You guys are you're like racial profiling, except by the race is white and the profile is wears a polo shirt. I get your point, and that you agree, but the video is kind of vapid. It's just a short video that's supposed to say, like, pull on your heartstrings on, like, what we've lost in terms of relying on social media or the dating apps or whatever. Yes, Alec Gunther, I want you to die alone. That's the message of the segment. Don't you think a lot of people are going to take away the oh my god, I'm not grading it on I'm not grading this video on social responsibility. I'm agreeing with the premise. Also, in the 1950s, people did actually approach each other in person. Tinder hadn't been invented yet. That's the bit. That's it. It's simple. I mean, come on, please tell me you guys don't feel this, right? I don't even have that much trouble talking to people on dating apps or in person. And this is like an agreeable sentiment from my end. There's no way you socially anxious losers aren't like, oh my god, I wish I could go to a diner and there'd be a cute girl who'd talk to me. Like, come on. Hello, Ruben. I don't see any solutions either. It's just, it's not off! What's happening? This, if I had not said beforehand that Shoe posted this, nobody in chat would have an issue with this. Holy shit. It's not offering solutions. It's a 20-second video. I don't understand why everyone cares about this shit. About the ability to talk to people in person, or about the perceived social responsibility of a short video about Shoe posting a video? Oh, okay. Honestly, if I was approached by a chick in the diner, I'd assume she wanted something from me. Well, your number, I don't know. Are diners that clean? Sure. They're kept clean. Okay, but the framing of it being in the 50s is the annoying part. People still talked in person in the 80s and 90s. Okay, look, I'm pretty I'm pretty hip with the dog whistles here, but I really don't think that's like a substantive criticism in and of itself, right? Like, sure, is it annoying that it's in the 50s? Like, is that real? Like, I don't know. If someone approached me at a diner, I would assume they were about to tell me my fly was undone. You guys aren't going to believe this, but approaching someone out of nowhere was how all social interactions worked for all of human history until recently. Anytime you got to know a chick, that was because at some point, either you or her had gone up to the other, either alone or with a friend or friends, and introduced each other. That was how it always worked. Vaush is lying. Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure that if a girl came up to you and said that, your fly is undone, like out of nowhere, that's got to be flirting too, right? Why the fuck would she tell you otherwise? I would never go up to a random person whose fly was undone and go like, oh, your fly's undone. I don't give a shit. Like, why the fuck? That's not my business. She's like telling you like, hey, I was looking at your dick. I was staring at your dick and I noticed there was some, you could do some cleanup. If a girl approached me in a diner, I would assume she hit my car in the parking lot. Yeah, you see like a baddie stun show walking up to you in the diner. You're like, oh my god, and she's like, hey, is that your key outside? I'm really sorry. I think that one pulling it. Vaush, I met my most recent partner at a party, and it is by far my most healthy, better than any other person I got into a relationship through dating apps. Yeah, I am a return with a V person on this. I do think that meeting people in person, I think that like, even if you could get a good relationship via a dating app, I think it is better to not use a dating app. To like do a meet cute or whatever, go to a bar, talk to people, I don't know. It's not easy, but... Vaush, girls don't really like looking at dicks that much, right? Really depends on the girl that you're talking to. Straight girls, a lot of them don't. Yeah, some of them do, but not all of them. Bi girls, however. What's your opinion on speed dating? I don't see the appeal, personally. Do you think it's a problem with the concept of dating apps, the current trend with them? No, it's a fundamental issue with dating apps. There's nothing wrong with social media or even the concept of dating apps, but like, we are so lonely and socially incompetent, and all the third spaces are gone, and everything costs money. It's just fundamentally people should meet in person. Is it bad if a girl says your dick is cute? No. Getting upset because a girl calls your dick cute is like low-T beta male behavior. Because you're, what do you mean cute? You mean it's not big and scary? Like, shut the fuck up, Like, come on. Get over yourself. Some guys are so used to porn dialogue when girls are talking about dicks that they want literally everything said about the dick to be some kind of like jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, like, holy shit, this will literally kill me or whatever. I remember this post on Twitter a while ago where somebody was like, yeah, I told my boyfriend that his dick was the first one that didn't hurt me, and he got so upset he didn't talk to me for 2 days. Genuinely remarkable. I say women are emotional a lot, and they are. They're very dumb. But there is a small group of people that is more stupid and more emotional than women, and that's men. Genuinely, like this, it's like pride, ego, like machismo shit every time, man. The stupidest shit. She probably meant that as a good thing. I can't imagine that she didn't. I've never heard I don't think girlfriends typically like look at dicks and go like thinking like, how can I maliciously undermine the confidence of this guy? I don't think that's a common issue. There was a guy on Reddit yesterday that committed to a life of celibacy due to the shame of only having a 13-centimeter dick. Bro is basically suicidal, thanks to having a statistically average dick. What is 13 centimeters? Yeah, that is like statistically average. Yeah, this is like it's like porn brain. It's what porn addiction does to the brain. I think, or not even addiction. It's just, you know, it's 5.12 inches or something. How should I respond if I get told my dick is too big? You know what? Just be really cringe. That's what you should do. Be like, no, really, no, you really mean that? Oh, just do that for like 5 minutes. I'm sure that'll be very endearing. Or you could do what I do, which is when the girl says your dick is big, and I do the DreamWorks face at her, and I say, "Damn, baby, that right?" I'm sorry. Thanks. Now I want to kill myself. Vaush, that's even more cringe. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Thank you. Is 11 inches standard? No woman would ever want a dick that large. Wait, that's small. I fucked up the joke. God damn it. Why does it feel like gay guys appreciate me more than straight girls do? Yeah, look, okay, I'm again, like, I joke about this, but genuinely, my experiences with straight women have consistently been, like, pretty negative. I just think the issue is that, like, I don't know. It really does feel like, and this isn't all of them, but it really does feel like a lot of straight women don't like guys that much. They just like a lot of the social prestige and status associated with being with a guy, but they don't seem to, like, lust after guys. That's the thing, okay? Because a lot of people do this thing where it's like, you know, women don't actually like sex the same way, and women don't like looking at dicks or whatever. And it's like, maybe you're women, okay? I don't want to be with a chick who's like, oh, sex time? Okay. Like, if I'm gonna be with a chick, she has to be a disgusting hornball like me. I'm not well, like, I'm not having a girlfriend who's like restrained on the issue, right? But a lot of straight women seem, I think a lot of it is like internalized misogyny or sex shaming or whatever, because like all women were like beaten by their moms growing up and telling them that like all men are terrible, like never put out for men because they'll disrespect you the moment you put out for them. So like as a consequence of this trauma, it makes them incredibly boring and difficult to deal with or whatever. I don't know why being bi seems to fix this, and it probably doesn't for a lot of them, but yeah, I don't know. It's very annoying. I would never want to be in a relationship with a person who felt like it's not even like sex is a chore. I just like, you know, they got to be there for that shit, man. Could be that a lot more people are asexual than they realize. Yeah, this is a big like dead bedroom trope where a girl will be like a girl will put out a lot, and then when they get married, they'll all of a sudden stop, and it turns out the only reason they were putting up with sex was because they were trying to get into a marriage. You know? Man, that sucks. Hey guys, I'm hitting you guys with the big T truth here, okay? For one, before marriage, seriously, you don't know what's going to go wrong if you don't. And for two, if it ever feels like a person that you're with is withholding sex from you or being dishonest about their sex drive or whatever, massive red flag, talk to them directly. Because there are so many like posts in the r/sex subreddit when my feed is blighted enough to get those recommended to it, where it's like, hey, I have the perfect relationship, except we have sex once every 3 months, and every time I bring up sex, which is every other day, she says she has a headache. And it's like, dude, god damn, man. Is it over for the heteros? It was a long time ago. Yeah, that makes sense, Cutie with a Great Sword. I'm being a little essentialist when I say like all straight, it's not all straight women, but it is definitely an issue that I see more with straight women. Maybe being bi or pan or whatever tends to like, there's a correlation between that and having a more liberated attitude towards sex. So women who are bi or pan are more likely to not buy into the, like, I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to be a pan woman who also feels like all that like internalized self-hate about being sexual or whatever, because like you're being pan, like you've already sort of crossed one barrier. Not impossible, just it seems like a correlation, you know. Vaush, being a woman sucks because the thing that stopped you from getting pregnant also lowers your sex drive. Depends on the woman. Also, to be clear, I'm not saying you're bad if you have a low sex drive. There's a difference between having a low sex drive, which is fine. People are literally built different. You know, that's fine. There's a difference between having a low sex drive and being weird about or put off by sex. Does that make any sense? Like, even if you have a low, so let me give you an example. It's going to sound gratuitous, but I mean this, and I think most people would agree if they could see past sort of the juvenility of the topic. If I have a relationship, you know, going on, it's a banging chick, you know, and she doesn't have that high of a sex drive, that is an issue for me. To be fair, you know, but let's say that it wasn't, you know, let's say that it like I'd be okay with sex like once or twice a week or whatever. Like, let's say that's fine. Okay. So, you know, in that context, right, there's a difference between having a GF who would be like kind of weird about being touched and one who you could like go up behind them when they're brushing their teeth and just like aggressively squeeze them all over. You know what I mean? Again, it's a personal preference thing. But you ever get that? Now, I haven't dealt with this personally, but I know because from you hear from other people, like stories or whatever, that there are some people, like you're in a relationship with them, but you grab their ass and they get weird about that. That to me, again, not saying if you don't like that there's something wrong with you, but there's like different layers here that isn't just having a high or a low sex drive. It's more like a general aversion to or discomfort with anything related to sex or intimacy that I see more, at least anecdotally, you know, from het women, but I don't know. I think a lot of it's probably like a mental barrier to overcome, and a lot of it probably just is like authentically not being interested, which is fine. You know, again, personal preferences. I think a lot of it depends on the emotional strength and intimacy of the relationships. Again, I just want to be clear in the fact that like just because I don't like that doesn't mean like if your partner has a lower sex drive or an aversion to sex or whatever, like something that's bothering you, the correct response to this is always to talk with them, not to like shame them for their preferences, you know, because they got a lower sex drive. What are you gonna do? Assault them? Like what's, you know, don't be a dipshit, you know, just talk with them. Talk. A lot of people are so averse to talking. Also a big straight. No, it's not just a big straight person thing. Gay people also don't like talking with each other. That generally happens when you've experienced being abused. Yeah, it's been known to happen for sure. And that's like a get therapy thing, you know? You ever like this is one of those like, you know, it's always like a touchy subject or whatever. But I have, you know, known people like this, you know, sometimes, you know, a person's been assaulted or treated poorly or whatever. Them motherfuckers got to go to therapy. You know, if they resist going to therapy, like you got to tell them to go to therapy. Like if you've got like a partner who was like assaulted in the past or whatever, sometimes because people are very averse to like working on those issues because it hurts and, you know, that's how it is, but it's also kind of necessary. It's how healing works. So, you know, they get weird about that, but holy shit, some of these motherfuckers have to go to therapy. I've said this before, but I think that a lot of TERFs, the women who are active in the TERF movement, have just been in the past by men, and a lot of them are straight women who kind of hate men now, and you know, I don't blame them for that reflexive bias, but if you take a look at their rhetoric and the way they talk about trans women, even the way J.K. Rowling talks about trans women directly, she literally said this, I'm not speculating, this isn't me just like weaving threads together, she just said this, that a lot of her like transphobia is directly stems from like sexual assault and fear of men, you know, which that's not a justification. Go to therapy, go to therapy, go to therapy. It's not our problem, not my problem, not trans people's problem. Go to therapy, you know? Not my go to therapy. You are a billionaire. You can afford therapy. You can afford multiple therapy at the same time. Religious upbringing has a lot of telling girls that sex is bad and they're horse for doing. Yeah. And that's also a kind of trauma, you know, for sure. I actually have an issue with the sex drive stuff. I feel like I have too low of a sex drive and often just don't want to have sex with my boyfriend. I love him more than anything and I'm really attracted to him. But once we get into it, I suddenly just lose it and I feel so bad. Sometimes I just force myself because I feel guilty. I genuinely don't know what to do about it. We talked about it. He's kind of understanding, but I still feel so bad. I mean, if you think there's like an underlying trauma or experience or an issue or whatever that you think is causing that, then, you know, that is something that can be worked on. The plasticity of the brain may lower after you become an adult, but it never goes away. Everything that you are is malleable and can be changed. There's nothing essential to any one's personality. Any memory, belief, attitude, bias, preference you have, they can be changed. Not all of them and exactly the way you want, but most of them in some amount of time. And if it's something you really care about, then it's probably a preference worth changing. If you want to have a higher sex drive, then maybe engage critical analysis of why you feel and how, or what do they call it? Cognitive behavioral therapy sometimes can be a way of like unrooting trauma or like deassociating certain triggers from certain behaviors. And hey, maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's just general preference, you know? Maybe it's just a matter of like different people are different people. I've been thinking about this and the way conversations are displayed in media as flawlessly following a script, not awkward the way real life is, has really damaged our ability to just talk. Yeah, I've actually said this before. I know this sounds dumb, but I actually think this is one of the reasons why Scott Pilgrim versus the World resonated with so many people. It's because obviously it's kind of like a, you know, horny relationship-oriented manga/movie, whatever. But everyone talks pretty naturalistically in their like jokey anime way. And I think that a lot of people saw that and it like resonated with them a lot more, that like millennial/Gen Z, well, it's not Gen Z, but you know what I mean? Like that millennial kind of banter, awkwardness felt a lot more real than the normal like romance movie meet cute where people just talk in little bazinga, you know. Why'd you count the words? I don't know. Because I wanted to, because I'm Italian. What do you want? Didn't you hear Ramona Flowers ruined a generation of women? Ramona Flowers ruined a generation of men. Ever since Ramona Flowers dropped, ever since that concept dropped, like basically every guy wants to Ramona Flowers, right? Left-leaning guys are open about it. Right-leaning guys will draw like hate comics about women like Ramona Flowers while secretly masturbating to porn videos of girls with blue hair. Everyone wants to Ramona Flowers. That's the point. That's the whole point of the manga, you know? Kind of. It's just some people are honest with themselves about it, and some people aren't. What is Ramona Flowers? Oh, wow. There's a comic called Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It's very influential. It's good. You should read it. Also, there's a movie, a live-action movie that's also very good, but very different. And now there's a Netflix show that's very, very, very different and somewhat good. Bro, it's a graphic novel. Get this weeb language out of it. What the f*** do you mean? First of all, manga is just a graphic novel or whatever. Like, it's just Japanese. And also, there's a ton of like anime influence in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Like, it's very obviously designed. Okay, whatever. Vaush, as a kid, I do remember thinking it was weird, and I felt self-conscious about how everyone on TV spoke so much more confidently and without mistakes than me. Yeah, I do think that like naturalistic dialogue is probably something that I think people gravitate towards it. We have like a bastardized version of it right now in the Marvel movies, where for a time there was an attempt at naturalistic dialogue in like the earlier movies like Iron Man, where people didn't really do like big bombastic speeches. For the most part, like Tony Stark and everyone talked like pretty normally, I think. And then as it's gone on, now Marvel like witticisms have sort of grown out like a bacterial culture into their own hive of, you know, internal tropes and bullshit quips and one-liners. And did that just happen or whatever? But naturalistic dialogue is good, you know? I mean, Breaking Bad was good for that. The Wire is good for that, right? Prestige, like drama TV, tends to be better about that because it's a lot easier to connect with like serious drama when people act like people. Are people who have low libido partners more likely to cheat? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I think that people who cheat overwhelmingly do so because they are insecure and very like personally weak, and they're looking for affirmation or an experience that's outside the one that they're in. But it's not literally just like they're not enough. I mean, maybe there's like a very slight correlation, but I think for the most part, it's a personal weakness thing. There's no excuse for cheating. You know, if you want to cheat like really badly, then you can do that. You just have to leave your partner first, and then it's not cheating. That's how it is. You know, that's the one secret tip. You know, that's the one trick you can do to, you know. Yeah, people will cheat even when they're in open relationships. Yeah, it's kind of like how is more about power than sex. It's one of those things that's kind of counterintuitive, you know. Please talk about the idea of people who cheat because their partner is bad/abusive with them. Yeah, look, okay, if your partner is a giant piece of shit and they're abusing you, I don't think cheating on them with another person is like a great moral crime against your partner. I just think it's bad decision making. If you want to leave your partner, leave your partner. If you're in a circumstance where you can't leave your partner because there's like some sort of economic tie or like a threat to your well-being or safety or whatever, you probably shouldn't cheat on them for your own safety then. It doesn't solve a lot of problems, you know. The problem that it solves is that you know, you get your nut on, which is not a huge problem day by day, I feel. There's probably a better way out of that, but I guess there are like extenuating circumstances. Shit can be complicated. Why do people date crazy assholes? I don't know, because they're interesting. I don't even find them interesting. You know, people say that like girls go after assholes or whatever. First of all, they do. Second of all, so do guys. Like, guys will be open about this. Guys will literally be like, yeah, I would go out with like X, like crazy chick or whatever, because look at her body, look at how big her tits are, or whatever. Like, guys do this all the time. They say this all the time. We only pay attention to women doing it because we want to chastise women for their bad decision making, so men can act like they would have done a better job. Women do this too, but not nearly as much. Like, guys are so it's such a cuck mentality. If you're looking at a girl and thinking, you know, this girl has terrible taste. Why is she going out with an asshole instead of going out with me? Damn, you know what? Guess you lost to a dipshit then. Like, what are you doing? Why are you like commiserating on the idea of like your loss to a person you think is worse than you? What are you doing? You know, like what impulse drives men to do this? I don't understand. If you think a woman has bad taste, okay, lots of people have bad taste. Well, like, okay, then accept that. Okay, that woman has bad taste in men. I've met plenty of women who have bad taste in men. You think I haven't had friends who's like relationship after relationship, they get abused and they get abused and they get abused. And obviously, like, there are underlying reasons why women sometimes gravitate towards abusive men, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they have stupid taste. They have bad taste. They're a bad judge of character. They're being an idiot. What are you just gonna sit there and seethe about it? You're gonna be, oh, I would show her a good time. Then do. Then make the case. Then just go up to her. What do you like? Hey, I notice that your ex-boyfriends keep beating the shit out of you. Have you considered not getting the shit beaten out of you by me? Try it. Hit him with it. And if she says no, that's her problem. What do you like? The guys they're like fantasizing. It's all knight saving the princess in the tower shit where they're like, oh, I'll rescue you. Then do it or don't, you know? God. Also, you know, not to say that it's their fault or anything, but if a woman consistently gets into bad relationships, that's usually indicative of something she has to work on in herself. You know what I mean? Like there's something that's inhibiting her ability to identify red flags in other people or respond to them appropriately. And it's probably a good idea for her to, you know, not like stop dating or whatever, you know, just like think about it a little, you know, do a little think, take a minute to relax. Like those people who rebound one day after a breakup. I don't know how people do that, by the way. When I need like lead-ins and lead-outs to single dates when I'm meeting new people. The idea of like, oh, I got dumped yesterday, I'm going out to the club tomorrow. I have no idea. You extroverts are crazy, man. Crazy. Do you believe in the concept of soulmate? No. Bullshit. Total bullshit. Disney Channel bullshit. No such thing as a soulmate. There are literally like millions of people on Earth right now that you would be happy in a relationship with and you'd die happy with them. People are not that special. I hate the idea of like, oh, well, you need some special stuff. No. Some people are a little bit more discerning than others, but like the fundamental like underlying tenets of a good relationship, the thing that really like binds and makes it all work, you know. Humans are pretty similar. Like, you know, not totally, but pretty similar. There are a lot of overlapping, you know, interests, and we like the same things for the most part. We like it when people are nice and kind and interesting and take interest in our interests and so on. People may be almost infinitely complex, but that doesn't mean they don't, you know, work together relatively well. We're a social species. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have come along this far. Soulmate is BS, but the feeling of someone being your soulmate's very real. Oh, sure, yeah, love makes you hearted. Yeah, fine, yeah, great. That's good, Embrace that. You know, that's not a bad thing. Great. Be lovingly hearted. That's wonderful. Genuinely. Human experience shit. Yeah, go for it. It's not like I haven't done that. Yeah, go. Great. I will say the idea of men being nice to women is worthy of high praise is wild to me. So many dudes think it's somehow a blade to fell. It's an asshole. It's this would love her. It's just finally nice to a woman. To be fair, being nice to a woman genuinely will probably put you in at least the upper like 50% of guys that she's engaged with on any kind of romantic or sexual level. But yeah, obviously being nice is, I don't understand how people struggle with the first hurdle. Being nice is the easy part, you know? The hard part, see, this is the two things you have to be a worthwhile human being, okay? You have to be kind and you have to be interesting. That's it, you know? You be good and don't waste people's time. And the real problem is that a lot of people will say, you know, that they're not one when they are. For instance, a bunch of people in chat like to whine that they're boring. You know, I hate you. I hate you more than anything. What do you want, a compliment? You want me to pat you on the head? Holy shit, you're boring. Like, you're being boring by complaining about being boring. You're worsening the problem, you know? I guarantee you have something interesting about you. A lot of people just kind of stuff that down because they're worried about standing out. Just be autistic. I literally, you know what I was doing the other day? I was on a date last night. By the way, she was crazy hot, great ass. I know. You're all thinking, okay, it couldn't have been that. It was really good. Having a great time. She's complimenting my dick. You know, it's going according to plan. And what am I doing like right before she's all over me, you know? I'm showing her my Japanese raw denim jeans. I'm telling her what a selvage is. You think I'm joking? You think autistic Riz isn't a thing? I get emails every day from people saying, hey, your advice helped me. I have a girlfriend now. I'm not joking. Just talk about stuff you find interesting, you know? That's it. Literally. That's all it takes. It's a real thing. Hey, look at this selvage. Look at this nice lining the Japanese denim makers sewn into these jeans. Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, hey, you know how I got these to fit me? I took a hot bath in them. And she was like, oh, I remember you sent me a picture of you sitting in a bathtub in your jeans and I didn't know if you were joking. And I was like, nah, this ain't a joke. Take a look at how nice this fits. Can we move on? I'm already feeling suicidal over failing at life. Oh, but quit. No. If you're so withdrawn from, you know, human socialization, that stuff like this makes you feel bad, then don't watch my streams. My streams, listen, okay, I follow my great disciple Donald Trump. Okay, like him, I taught him this, you know. We love success here, okay? We're not about loser talk, you know? We like successful people. We like veterans who don't get turned to POWs. All right, I want to talk about stuff that makes people happy. If people's happiness makes you sad, you know, that's something you can work on. Vaush, this is true. I am remarkably retarded. My girlfriend loves it. They do. Chicks love a retarded guy. They love that shit. There's nothing they love more. How do you do that without it appearing as mansplaining? Don't even worry about it. Being the mansplaining thing is just being condescending. Don't be condescending. Be excited to share information that you have, you know? The only possible way that could come across as mansplaining is if it turns out the chick that I was with was a Japanese raw denim jean maker, to which point she'd be like, oh yeah, I know, because I do that. I made those jeans actually. And then what do? You don't go, no, sweetie. Actually, I think having worn these, I know more about this pair than you. Then you just go, oh my God, these jeans fit great, thank you. And then what do you like? Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. How often do you talk about your cats with bitches on dates? All the time. Why wouldn't I? All right, moving on. So this is a good segment. Full of life. Full of life.